this lighting is actually making me look like a ghost. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me again this week. For today I wanted to talk a little bit about 10 things that I learned as a college freshman that I want to share with you guys and for anyone who's becoming a college freshman. I feel like these tips though can very easily become tips for sophomores, juniors, and seniors as well. They're definitely things that I'm going to continue to do as I progress through college. But this is primarily for, well, not primarily, but this is because I just finished my freshman year, so I wanted to kind of share what I've learned from my freshman year with anyone else who might be starting school for the first time. So without further ado, I'm going to share my top 10 tips on how to survive and do well in freshman year. So my number one tip for anybody of any year level is go to class. I cannot stress this enough. There's so many benefits to going to class. Like sometimes you can have that random professor who's like extra credit on some random day and you're like, okay, but you wouldn't have received that extra credit if you hadn't gone to class. And I understand that it's hard sometimes to go to every single class, like things come up. There was classmates that I had at school who had like a family member who died and they had to go to a funeral. Obviously, you're not going to be expected to go to class when something like that comes up, but on a normal day-to-day basis and you don't want to go to class just because you want an extra hour or two to sleep, maybe try to go to bed a little bit earlier so you can get up and actually attend that class. It really is important and it'll benefit you so much in the long run. The second one goes hand in hand with number one, and that is pay attention in class. Yeah, you can show up, but if you're not actually actively trying to learn, you're not really benefiting from the fact that you got out of bed earlier just so you can attend that 8 a.m. So I would recommend taking notes, asking questions, doing any type of class participation. But yeah, try to become active in class. Don't just sleep, don't just eat, don't just sit on your computer and play video games the entire time while the teacher thinks that you're taking notes. That's not going to benefit you at all. Take actual notes, do something, anything, even if you're just following along in the book, something that'll kind of keep you engaged with what's going on because you retain so much more information. Most of the learning is done in the classroom, so if you retain so much information, these glares of light need to stop. But if you retain so much information in the classroom, then you don't have to study as much later. So there's less stress on you when it comes down to crunch time or before a test or something like that, and it helps out a lot. Number 3, again, goes hand in hand with 1 and 2, is ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. And this isn't just inside the classroom, but this is also outside of the classroom. I have gone to my professors all the time during their office hours just to sit and chat with them about the homework, about an assignment, about what I wasn't getting or what I was getting in class, and just to get some concrete ideas and concrete information that I could go off of. Even if they're a mean professor, I feel like there's still an ego trip for them if a student comes and says, hey, I need help. So I feel like there's still a benefit to asking a professor for help. Even if you don't ask the professor, ask a fellow classmate or something who maybe understands it more than you, but just do something, just talk to someone, ask someone anything. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Everyone's in the same boat, everyone is struggling, and no one's smarter than anyone else. So, except for maybe the professors, we could maybe argue that, but yeah, that's number 3. Number 4 is always get your homework done on time. If you can, do it beforehand. Don't ever wait to the last minute. In high school, I was a procrastinator, as in I was memorizing my presentation 2 minutes before I had to go and give that presentation. I was that kid. But in college, I would have so much anxiety if I didn't have my homework and everything like that, all my assignments done well in advance. It was odd for me to be doing it even 2 or 3 days beforehand. I had to do it at least a week or 2 before, and that's what I was doing constantly. And I have to say that really helped me out because then when it came down to study time, where it was okay, now a test is coming up, I didn't have to worry about handing in last minute homework or getting those last few assignments done, because for some reason professors always put a crap ton of assignments done due in the last week before finals. I don't understand that. But I never had to really worry about that because all of my assignments were done and already turned in and graded most of the time before, like a week or two before they were even due. Number 5, the buddy system. This is something that we've all learned from like a very young age, but I feel like a lot of times we forget it. But this is so true in college, like so true in college. Always find a friend, like always find a friend. Even if they're not like best friend material or hey, I want to hang out with this person outside of class, find someone in class that you can like exchange your phone numbers with. That way, in case you happen to miss a class or in case they miss a class, you guys can exchange homework assignments, you guys can exchange notes, you guys can talk about what happened in class, what you missed, what you didn't learn, whatever. That way you didn't fall behind at all. This is a contingency plan in case you have to miss a class. You probably shouldn't, as discussed in number 1. But in case you do, it's good to have that backup friend who's like, hey, here's what you missed, here's whatever. 6, don't lose connection with people that you left behind at home while you're going away to school. I started school at a community college, but when I went to that community college, I moved away from my home, so I still wasn't around my family. But I continued to call them every couple of days. Well, maybe not every couple of days because I was a horrible human, but I tried to call, email, do something, keep connections going. I'd drive down to visit them all the time. They would drive like part way. We would like meet in between. We did stuff. I stayed in contact with friends from my first job, like who lived way back in like where I grew up. And now that I've moved again to finish school from that community college, I've moved again. I am still constantly calling and texting and, Snapchatting, even just friends from back home and from Massachusetts where I went to community college. And so there's so many benefits to just keeping in contact with friends. Those are people who really know you. And so when you get into weird situations and so when you need help or just some support, you have someone. But if you kind of cut them off, and it's tempting to, it's easy to, even though we might not want to, it's very, very easy to just be like, I'll call him tomorrow, I'll do it later, and then that later never happens. So try to keep in mind that you should be trying to stay in contact with people that you grew up with your family, with your friends, with whoever, people who really truly know you for who you are before you try to jump into all these other relationships and friendships in college, because those people, yes, they can become really, really strong friends, and even those people can become like almost like family. But you need to remember that your roots are the most important, and that's going to keep you grounded, and that's going to keep you feeling less stressed out as you progress through everything. Keeping your family and friends involved in what you're doing will enable them to offer assistance or advice or help or whatever you need when that time comes. So stay in contact with people from your past because you don't want to forget them. 7, and this is going to be kind of a controversial topic, I feel like, is I don't think you should sleep with the first guy who bats his eyes at you. Now, I know it's college, I know we're all young, I know we're supposed to be having fun, but in college there are so many guys or just potential partners, I'll say, because I want to be all inclusive. People will want to sleep with you. It happens. Don't sleep with the first person who flirts with you, because let me tell you right now, it's not going to work out. And if you're anything like me, you're going to get way too involved, way too fast, and then you're going to be like, well, I said it was just going to be for fun, but now I'm planning out our wedding, and everything's gone to crap, because he doesn't think about me the way I think about him, and whatever. Number 8. So this one is also kind of obvious, but I feel like no one really does it, and that is get enough sleep. We all as college students never get enough sleep, and that's just a given. If you're a college student, you're going to be sleep deprived. That's just the law of the land. So, but what I would kind of like to say is, yeah, that might be like the law of the land, that might be like the unspoken rule of college students, but I feel like we should be trying to kind of break that, how everything goes like that. So what I would say is, yeah, you're gonna be sleep deprived, But if you can choose to not like go to that party or do whatever, or drink really, really late, or smoke all day long, or do X, Y, and Z that's gonna keep you from sleeping, then cut that out and get sleep, because that's gonna be way healthier for you in the long run, and you're gonna really appreciate it, especially when you have to get up for that 8 a.m. class that you're not skipping, because we talked about that in number 1. So try to get a little bit of sleep. I know because of stress, because of everything that's going on, because of studying, because of all-nighters, whatever, it's going to be hard to get enough sleep, but I feel like if you cut out the unnecessary stuff that you don't really need to do, that's also preventing you from getting enough sleep, then that's going to help out a lot too. And number 9, get involved on campus, not just in frat parties and Greek life, but let's talk a little bit about clubs and other things like that. A lot of campuses allow you to start your own club. So if there's nothing that they offer and you're a little bit of a rebellious kid, why not get involved by starting your own club? And it could be anything that you want. And most campuses, like the school that I'm going to, I think has like 200 different clubs you can pick from. So that's quite a lot, and like quite a lot of variety. I was the member of the Criminal Justice Club my freshman year, and I loved it. I don't know if I'm going to do it again this year because I'm just so busy, but I really, really enjoyed being part of that club for that year. We did things like we put on a haunted house where all the money went to like charities that were connected with criminal justice. We did a food drive where we had a bunch of food and everything like that, and again, all the money that we got from that went to charity. We did walks around campus where we got everyone involved. We did collaborations. I was trying to think of the word. Collaborations with the psych club. We did a lot of stuff on campus, and we had a lot of fun, and I made some really, really good friends. And when you're a freshman student, that's why I recommend it for freshmen, is because when you're a freshman, you don't know a lot of people, and you're trying to make friends, and you're trying to find a place for yourself on campus. And if you get involved in a club, that kind of automatically sets you like in a place on campus, and you're around these same people all the time, and you're going places with them, and you're doing things with them, and it just builds this camaraderie that you gotta love, you know what I mean? And you're eventually gonna find friends in that group. And last but not least, we have number 10, which is take some alone time. And this is hard sometimes at school because you're either in class, you're working, or you're with your roommate, you're in your room, your dorm room if you're living on campus, or your apartment if you're living off campus, but most of the time you have some kind of roommate. Try to take some alone time, whether that's taking a walk, whether that's reading a book, playing a video game, whatever it is. Take some alone time to like regroup and de-stress and just relax by yourself, because when you're around another person constantly, sometimes it's hard to hear your own voice in your head being like, okay, this is what we need to do. And for me, as an introvert, it stresses me out to be around people all the time, so I need to kind of take that step back and find my own place again. So as of right now, I'm walking to and from work, and I walk to campus and things like that, and I love it because that gives me 20 minutes of just alone time. And then when I come home, I have the evenings, I have, time that I can spend for myself. I currently live in an apartment, and my brother's my roommate, so it actually works out really well, and we're both introverts, so we're totally capable of spending time apart from each other, but we also have a lot of fun when we actually do get together. But I understand that it can be harder for other people who live in a dorm room with roommates or whatever, and that's who you're stuck with. But try to find some alone time, like close the bedroom door, lock it, get a book, and read. Do something that'll just help you to regroup, because that's so helpful and it's so de-stressing, especially for the first year at school. So those are my 10 tips that you can use to survive and help you get good grades and help you to do well and get involved and make friends freshman year at college. I hope these things helped you. I hope I didn't ramble on for too long. I tend to do that. I tend to just lose my train of thought and go on and on and on. I apologize for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe if you want to. I make new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye!